Now it's best I've found to try to do these at the same time, and sometimes it requires you wet them a little bit. But you're going to be working this through, and on the very back of the cord lock, you'll see that there's a little window here. And what that's for is you have to push the string through the side here, then it has to come 90 degrees and come out of the front. So this little window in the back, sometimes you can push your string directly out of that window and then do a 180 and push it back through, and that's easier. Or you can push in the string from the side and kind of poke behind it with a screwdriver to help guide the string around that corner. So let's go ahead. This can be a little bit of a tedious process, but it's something where just be careful with it. Don't push the screwdriver in there too hard, and be patient, and you can definitely work it through. It's just one of those things in life that requires a bit of patience, but the efforts are well worth it. So here I'm going to go ahead and try to slide it through the back of the body first, and then from there I'm going to go ahead and try to slide it directly through the front, because I feel like that's going to be my my easiest route here. Got one through, so that's some progress. Now I'll just work through the other one. And now I have the other one through. So as you pull these through, you want to make sure that you haven't twisted or tangled the strings. So remember that the body of this is going to be upside down, where that clear window that we could see through as we're guiding the string in, that's going to technically be on the top of the blind. So as you're about to insert this back into the blind, you will have a solid body facing you that you can no longer see through. If your mechanism is like this and you can see the internal parts of it, you have it flipped. You have to make sure that you put this in the right way. The reason is there's a little wear bar right here, or a polished stainless rod, and the string goes over that without cutting a groove into the plastic. If you put it in upside down, the string is going to quickly tear through this plastic, and it's going to fail in just a matter of months, if that. So as I'm pulling this string, I'm just making sure that it's not twisted. And it is just a little bit twisted as it comes into the body of the blind. So what you want to do is just separate it with your fingers and pull it through to get it where it's not twisted anymore. And there we go. I have it now. And if it's twisted 1 or 2 revolutions, keep in mind that you can also flip the entire body over to get things in alignment if you need to. But just make sure that as the strings come out, that they're separate, they're not twisted or tied up. So in this case, everything looks good. The cord lock is a good match. We have it for the right side, so we're ready to go ahead and reinstall it in the body of the blind. Now resist the urge just to snap it completely back in. The reason being is you need to leave yourself some room to slide this fabric back over, and some of this fabric does go inside this rail. So if you push this lock all the way in, it's going to be very difficult to slide the blind back over. So it's best to just kind of set it here a little bit, maybe 1/3 of the way in, then start to work the fabric back over. And what you're probably going to need to do is, as the fabric gets close to it, pull the front of this piece up and slide the back of it down. And here the fabric is hitting just a little bit. So I'm going to go in with my screwdriver, and I'm going to lift the fabric up just a little bit while I pull it forward. Okay, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and pull it out just a little bit more, actually out of the body of the blind, and slide the fabric all the way over, because it was just getting hung up. And so now, looking inside the blind, you're able to see where it goes, and you can see the fabric that was getting in the way, but here it's pretty much pushed along the bottom. So to reinsert this piece, I'm going to gently put it in at a little bit of an angle, making sure that I push the fabric down as I slide it in. So again, kind of lift it over the fabric, push the fabric down, then slide it in. So I was able to start to get it in, and really as long as you get it in just a little bit and the fabric is underneath it, you're good. But if you're feeling a lot of resistance here and you're even hearing the fabric start to crinkle, pull it back out, make sure you go in there with the flathead screwdriver and push that fabric down. But you can see here the little channel that it's made, and that's ideal. You want to make sure that the fabric, again, is pushed along the bottom of the header. So since we're good to go, I'm going to go ahead and slide this piece in. And now you can push it in until you hear that snap. And there we go. So you can see now that it's in, it's mounted, it's color coordinated, the string's coming out, it's not tangled. And before we you always have the urge to go ahead and raise and lower it, give it a test. I'm with you, but first let's go ahead and make sure that you at least reinsert this screw in the headrail before you try to tug on the blind. That's what keeps this whole piece from sliding, and if you start pulling on this cord, you could shift the fabric on the header and possibly cause damage to the fabric as it slides. So because I do want to test it, I'm going to go ahead and put that screw back in, that Phillips head screw that we removed in the very beginning of the process right here. As you're tightening the screw, if you feel any resistance, you may need to shift the rail back and forth a little bit. This screw is mating into a piece in the top of the blind here, so it keeps the fabric from shifting, and both of those holes are obviously already drilled as the screw was once in it already. So if you're feeling a lot of resistance, you'll want to shift the fabric and the header back and forth just a little bit until it lines up with that previous hole that was in here. In this case, I'm not feeling any of that. The screw is going right in, and an easy way to tell that you're where you need to be is that this should be perfectly flush with the fabric. So you can see right here, it makes a perfect edge. And on the opposite side, you can see it makes a perfect edge. So that's how you know. Line this top header up with the fabric, and then that's when the screw should drop right in.